Stimulus money in 2022 still available for millions of people. I have all the details for you in this video and exactly what you need to do to claim billions and billions of dollars that are still on the table. Let's get right into it. But if you're new here or if you haven't done so yet, make sure to subscribe by hitting that button right down below the video so I can keep you updated as information is changing very rapidly right now, and I want to make sure that I'm helping out all of you in this community in any way that I possibly can. As things are changing so incredibly fast right now, we need to keep a pulse on everything going on, and ultimately I'm here for you with all of the latest updates as they are being released. So again, thanks so much for joining me. Subscribe down below if you haven't done so yet, and let's get right into the video. Alright, so here we are in early 2022, and there is still billions upon billions of dollars on the table right now that can be claimed as a result of 2021 in the form of stimulus money. Now notice, I did not call it a stimulus check simply because at this point, since it's from 2021, it would no longer be classified as a stimulus check, but rather it is money that was allocated as stimulus money, and it can still be claimed from last year. So I want to walk through multiple different groups here that could still get some money. Like I said, billions and billions and billions of dollars still on the table right now, and you might be able to grab your share of that cut. Now here's the thing. I quickly need to say this before we get into it. Of course, everybody's situation is very different. I don't know everybody's situation. I wish I knew a little bit more to help you out more specifically, but honestly, at the same time, it's still none of my business, and the deal is, everybody's situation is so very different that, of course, I cannot give you specific tax, accounting, or legal or financial advice in any way at all, but rather these are general statements, and based on what I say here, you may be able to look at your situation and say, hey, that sounds like me, maybe I can get some of this money. Well, I know that there's a lot of you right here in the community that fall into these categories because I see your comments down below, and I want to help you grab some money that you may not even recognize is still available for you as a result of 2021 and the massive stimulus package that passed last year, as well as some of these other rules, regulations, laws, and bills that came through last year. So let's break this down. I have about 5 different categories right here. Of course, some may pertain to you, some may not pertain to you, but my point is I wanted to make this all-encompassing and try to hit on as many people as I can here and to cover as many people as possible to help out as many people as possible. All right, so let's talk about the first category, which I think will probably encompass the vast majority of people here in the community, or for those people that may be here in the community, whereas the later points that I want to talk about may not pertain to as many people, but it's still probably going to pertain to some of you right here in the community. All right, number 1. If you were claimed as an adult dependent, now again, I know that doesn't pertain to everybody, but just hear me out for a second. If you were claimed as an adult dependent in 2020, or if you were somebody, whether an adult dependent or not, and you did not get a stimulus check last year in 2021, check it out. You could still grab $1,400. Now, one more thing I want to lump into this same category here. If you are somebody who did not receive one or either of these stimulus checks from 2020, the $1,200 or the $600, again, you can still get that $1,800 from 2020, okay? So let's walk through the steps here, what you need to do. And again, this is not tax or accounting advice, but rather look at your situation and think, okay, this sounds familiar. I wonder if I can get that money. So, and then we can dig a little bit deeper here, probably in a future video, and I can talk about this a little bit further here. But if you fall into any of these categories, you were claimed as an adult dependent by somebody. Again, it could have been, a child, something like that. I think that's probably the most common situation that I see down in the comment section is, maybe you're 65, maybe you're 70, maybe 75, something like that. Again, doesn't really matter your age. I'm just simply saying these are the situations that I typically see in the comment section, and maybe your adult child who's maybe 30, 35, 40, something like this, maybe claims you as an adult dependent. If that's your situation and they claimed you in 2020, you probably did not get a stimulus check last year in 2021 because it was advanced payment based on the tax returns that were filed for 2020. Therefore, if you do not want to be claimed as an adult dependent for 2021, again, you could have a conversation with the person who typically claims you and say, hey, please don't claim me this year. You could file your own tax return. Even if you are a non-filer, you could still file a tax return and claim the recovery rebate credit. Therefore, you just claimed yourself $1,400, a $1,400 check in your pocket as a result of that. Yeah, so that little bit of information that I just gave you right there could be worth, like, what did I say? Like 3 minutes worth of talk right there for $1,400? I don't know. Sounds pretty good to me, right? But anyway, that's just one category. Now, if you're somebody that did not get a stimulus check in 2021 as an advanced payment, once again, whether you an adult dependent or not, again, you could claim it right here in 2022 on a 2021 tax return, again, filing it and claiming the recovery rebate credit. So here's the deal. Like I said a minute ago, I know that a lot of you here in the community are typically non-filers. However, according to the rules and what the IRS has mentioned, the only way that you can get the stimulus check now, or the stimulus payment, I should call it, because it's no longer, technically a check, but rather it's a stimulus payment. It's showing up in a different form, but it's still the exact same thing. It is by filing a 2021 tax return and claiming the recovery rebate credit. So that's how it can be done, and it's worth $1,400. So if you did not claim or if you did not receive the stimulus check in 2021, that's how you can claim it now, is by filing a 2021 tax return and claiming the recovery rebate credit in the amount of $1,400. So that goes for adult dependents who were claimed in 2020 and did not get a check last year in 2021. And it also goes for those people who did not get a check last year for whatever reason. You know what I mean? There's a lot of you here in the community that receive Social Security, SSDI, retirement, survivors, SSI, VA. All of you were included for the stimulus check. But by default, the vast majority of you that receive those benefits typically probably don't file a tax return because you're receiving those benefits. Well, as a result of that, you may have been missed out. If you were missed out, you can still claim it this year. Does that make sense? So, okay. Hope that makes sense. Also, let's quickly hit on this really fast here. I do know that there are some of you out there in this community that also did not receive your stimulus checks from 2020. $1,200 and $600, a total of $1,800. If that's your situation, you can still file a 2020 tax return. Make sure, though, it has to be the 2020 tax return to claim that, not the 2021. The 2020 tax return, you have to file that one in order to claim that $1,800. But again, if that's your situation, you might want to talk to your professional. Maybe it's an accountant, maybe it's a CPA, maybe it's somebody that works in one of these little, little malls, one of these places you just walk in and say, hey, can you file my tax return for me? And they charge you maybe $100 for it, and then they do it for you. Again, you might want to talk to somebody there because it might be a little bit more complicated. But again, that could be worth $1,800 for you just by listening to this couple minutes here that I'm talking about this. Also, let's quickly talk about a couple other groups here. And again, I know this may not pertain to everybody, but it does pertain to some people, and I want to point this out. If your income reduced in 2021 and previously you were not eligible for the stimulus check based on your income from 2020, you might want to file a tax return again, and you might want to claim that recovery rebate credit. Here's what happened. A lot of people, as a result of everything going on right now, their income was lowered in 2021 over 2020. Therefore, they filed their 2020 tax returns, which maybe was a little bit higher income. Well, therefore, the IRS looked at the income and said, hey, your income is outside the limits. You're not eligible. Well, they did not give you the advanced payment in 2021 as a result of your 2020 tax return, right? Well, as a result of that, they didn't send out the advanced payment. Therefore, you may be able to claim that payment now in 2022 as a result of, once again, yes, the recovery rebate credit on your tax return. I get it. We're talking a lot about tax returns, but here's the deal. This is the only way that you can claim all the money now from 2021 if you did not get it, is you got to file a tax return, right? It's not what everybody wants to do, but the deal is, now that we've closed the books on 2021, the year is over, the year is gone. This is how you have to do it now. So that's why I keep going back to tax returns, even though I know a lot of you are non-filers. So that's why I keep talking about tax returns, even in the sense of a non-filer. Still the same thing. You got to file that tax return, okay? But this is only if you did not receive the money that you were due last year, then you would need to file. But if you're typically a non-filer anyway, and you received all the stimulus checks, hey, you're good to go. Again, I can't give you advice. I don't know your situation, but if you typically don't file and you're a non-filer usually, and you got all the money from last year, you're probably good to go, right? Okay. All right, let's keep rolling here. I got a couple more categories that I want to talk through with you, and yeah, I think that should wrap it up then. All right, so let's quickly talk about this. If you were somebody who had a new dependent in 2021, now again, it could be a new child, a new baby, it could be somebody that you're now claiming as a dependent. If you have a new dependent, basically of any kind from 2021, you can now claim that $1,400 check on their behalf. Especially for those of you who had a new baby in 2021, first off, congratulations. I hope all is going well for you. Even if you had that baby on 11/59 on December 31st, you can still claim the $1,400 plus a bonus $3,600 for that specific group. So stay tuned here. I'll talk about that here more in a second. But if you had a baby that was born at any point in 2021, it could have been on January 1st at 12:01 a.m. on January 1st, 2021, or it could have been on December 31st at 11:59 p.m., you can still claim the $1,400 plus the extra $3,600 on top of that. So $5,000 for this one specific group. So not bad right there, right? As I've mentioned in previous videos, that you can just call that diaper money, right? I'm in that same boat here. My wife and I also had a baby in 2021. So yeah, it's whoa, expensive stuff. But anyway, we can talk about that later. Anyway, let's keep rolling here. Let's talk about one more group here. Now, these are the people that started receiving the advanced child tax credit payments in 2021. And again, as I mentioned earlier in the video, I talked about stimulus money. Now, here's the deal. The child tax credit payments are not stimulus checks. They're an advance on a tax credit, and they're classified as child tax credit payments. They are not stimulus checks. Some people out there call these stimulus checks. They're not stimulus checks. They're simply they're simply called a child tax credit payment. And they're an advance on a refundable tax credit. However, if you receive those advanced payments, if you received the first half of your payments, you might want to file a tax return this year on the behalf of 2021 because you're due the other half of your payments, right? So let me break it down for you really fast here. Any child that is aged 6 or over up to 17 gets $1,500 per child within that age group. Now again, this has to be your dependent, by the way. It can't be like your neighbor's kid or like, your sibling's kid. It can't be that unless they are your dependent. If you claim them as a dependent, then by all means, if they are your dependent, then you're due the money. But you can't claim somebody else's kid, right? That sure would be nice, right? Claim the whole neighborhood. That'd be awesome. Claim all the kids in the neighborhood and get all the money. That'd be cool. But no, that's called like fraud or something, and that'd be really bad. So please do not do that. That would be very, very bad. But anyway, they have to be your dependent. Also, the other payment would be for any child under the age 6. So 5 and younger is $1,500. $1,800 is what it is per child. So if you have multiple kids, you could be looking at thousands and thousands of dollars that the IRS still owes you on the behalf of 2021. So again, how can you claim it? Yeah, exactly. By filing a 2021 tax return. Again, I know a lot of tax return stuff here, but again, that's the only way that you can claim money from 2021 as of right now. One more thing that you want to look at too, and I'm going to throw this out there as a quick pro tip. For those of you who have kids, or even if you do not have kids, if you worked in 2021 and you have a lower income, ask your accountant or your professional or whoever you work with to file your taxes. Ask them about the earned income tax credit. Just ask them about it. Again, I'm going to make a dedicated video talking about this. This is a huge topic in itself, but just ask them and say, hey, I worked in 2021. I had some earned income. I have kids. I don't have kids. My income was low. What about the earned income tax credit? Again, that could be worth thousands of dollars on top of the other thousands of dollars available for you. So again, I'll make a dedicated video about that one, but that's a whole other can of worms. I don't want to open it in this video, but simply just bring that up and they should say, oh, hey, yeah, maybe you should be able to qualify for that as well, and you might be able to grab thousands of dollars more on top of it. So again, that is not stimulus money, but rather that's a tax credit that's been around for many, many years. But I just want to throw it out there just in case if you may fall into that category. So again, here are some of the groups. Again, billions of dollars on the table right now from the IRS. I want to lay this out for you. Again, check this out. Feel free to go back and rewatch this video if you need to. But the moral of the story is, if you feel like you did not get all the money that you were due in 2021, you might want to look into your situation because you probably have money on the table right now that you can probably claim by filing a tax return. And again, you may want to talk to an accountant, a CPA, or somebody at one of these little, walk-in places where you can talk to somebody and they can file your tax return for, $100 or something. It might be worth it. If you can get $1,000, $1,400, thousands of dollars back, it might totally be worth it to have somebody do it for you, even if you need to pay them $100. Just being real with you. But again, this is not advice in any way, shape, or form. I'm here to give you general information, and I hope this helps you out. So again, thanks so much for watching this. Subscribe down below if you haven't done so yet. Go back and check out any of the other 2,100 videos right here on the channel. And of course, share this with your friends, family, and social media, because you never know who may be qualified to get some of these thousands and thousands of dollars that are still on the table right now as a result of 2021. All right, thanks so much for watching.